Hey, what's happening, everybody? Good morning. Welcome. Today is Monday, December 3rd, 2018. My name's Jeremy, and this is my first cup of coffee. Well, that's good stuff. All right. Well, I hope you had a great weekend. I did. It was busy, but it was fun. Hung out with some friends, some family, did some training. It's all good. It's all good. A great weekend, and now I am not ready to start the work week. Quite often on Mondays, I end up doing the first couple hours from the couch on my laptop because I have a hard time transitioning back into the work week and being hyper focused on work. Honestly, I need a vacation, but I don't have the. It's not a priority. I want one, but it's not a priority. Yeah, I think that's the best way to put it. Now, one of the things I wanted to talk about today was this experience I had on Friday. So if you've been watching the First Cup for a while, you know that whistlekick, while my main job, while a full-time job, is not my only job. Because one of the things I've learned about building a business is that the more you can keep the money in the business, the faster that business grows. So I have some other businesses that I work for. There's really one. There's a company I work for. I do about 15 hours a week. And most of what I'm doing is around marketing. And I spend one day a week on site there, and that happens to be Friday, typically. So on Friday, I was with this business and speaking with a potential sales rep. I guess it was a job interview. Somehow I'm now interviewing people for employment at this place. But it was a really interesting conversation. And he pretty much checked all the boxes that you would not want to check in applying for a job. And some of the things that happened are things that have come up on this show. So I thought we'd talk about it. Now, first off, this guy was incredibly negative. Everything going on in his life and everybody else's lives was bad. It was very clear he was unhappy. And then he went on to speak poorly of his friends and that the decisions they were making were all wrong and they should be listening to him. And then he went on to bash his employers, his previous employers. And I'm sitting here thinking, wow, could this get worse? Guess what? It got worse. After about 15 minutes of this guy rambling, I finally got a chance to ask my first question. And I asked him a pretty direct question. I said, let's pretend that you're hired on the spot. What would your first actions be towards generating some sales for this company as you leave today? And he didn't answer the question. He got 7 words into answering a question, took a hard left into answering something else. Wow. And we finished up the hour with more rambling and craziness. It was bad. It was bad. Now, why am I bringing this up? It checks a few boxes of subjects that we've discussed before. Stay positive, speak well of people, or don't talk about them. Remember that what you put out into the world comes back, all that stuff. But I think there are a couple things as it relates to martial arts and life in general that we haven't talked about. The first one is to stay positive and to remember that what you say about people has an impact on you. If you're a martial arts instructor, you shouldn't be bashing your students or your competition or yourself or anyone, especially during class and especially out of class. That's 100% of the time. You should be a beacon for positivity. The world is far too negative. We can't succumb to it. because it's one of the few things that we have over other pastimes, over other things that compete with martial arts. If we are not presenting ourselves and what we do and our participants as above that, or at least a little above that, we will lose our greatest advantage in recruiting students. Now, the other thing that I wanted to bring up out of this anecdote was this gentleman's complete inability to answer a direct question. We've all known people this way. Do you like pizza? And they can't give you a yes or no answer. Tell me about your weekend. They can't give you a direct answer. Now, I find that when people can't give direct answers, it's not because of their inability to form the words or their inability to think of the words and put them together in the right order. It's some kind of insecurity. It's an insecurity with, in the example I gave, perhaps this gentleman, perhaps his sales skills really aren't up to snuff. And honestly, based on the bits I was able to extract from his ramblings, I don't think they are. Maybe he knows that. Maybe he doesn't think of things on the spot. And instead of being honest and saying, I'm not great at developing sales strategies on the spot, I would need some time. That would have been a valid answer. When you ask people, do you like pizza? How was your weekend? And they can't answer you, it's a sign that something's off. Communication is a hallmark of society. It is the foundation of society. How strong would a society be if everyone spoke a different language? If everyone was unable to communicate with each other? Think of the things that you do in your daily life, and how difficult would they be if you weren't able to communicate with those people? Even if it was that they spoke a language different than yours and you needed to use some kind of translation app on your phone. Still get it done, still easy, but far more difficult than what we have now. One of the things I found is that in almost every problem scenario between a couple people, or between a person and a business, or anything, any challenge tends to come down to communication. People are generally good. People are generally mean well. People value different things at times, but most people, and I mean the vast majority, have a good heart. So what gets us into trouble is that communication challenge. The ability to express yourself so others can understand you, so they can see that you do mean well, I think is one of the most valuable skills that we have. It's something I've spent a tremendous amount of time working on through my adult life, through my professional career. And I'd like to say I'm a good communicator. I've gotten far better because of martial arts radio, because of this show. Martial arts radio has taught me how to interview, how to speak with people. And we have an interview that dropped today. Please don't. This is the first thing I do when I wake up. I'm assuming it's up. Episode 350 should be up right now. And then this show has taught me how to speak off the cuff. Improv, if you will. I've gotten better at that. And I've taken some of that skill into martial arts radio and out into the world. And I feel quite confident I could stand up in front of a group of people and talk about pretty much anything. It might be BS. It might not be a subject I know much about, but I could fake it. But I try not to fake it. And I feel that, more than probably anything else, gives me a leg up in my day-to-day life and in my professional life. But what if you're not a good communicator? How do you get better? You practice. It's like everything we do in martial arts. If you struggle at something, practice it and learn from people who can teach you better. There are lots of ways that you can learn how to communicate more effectively. Books, podcasts. or looking at the way other people communicate. One of the ways I got better at interviewing was I watched interviews. I have some people that I really look up to with their interview skill. One of my favorite interviewers, James Lipton from Inside the Actors Studio. He is the model for me. And if I was interviewing in person, I think you'd find a lot of similarities in the way that I operate martial arts radio versus that show. You can never be too good of a communicator, just like you can never be too good of a martial artist. So don't be afraid to practice it and to continue to practice it and to refine and everything else. How do you know if you need work on your communication? You're often thinking or saying, they just don't get it. They don't understand me. Why won't people listen to me? Things like that. Communication's a two-way street. But the better you get at expressing what is truly in your heart and the reasons for things, not just the facts, the better people will be at hearing you. Now, we've got a new sale starting tomorrow, so you should get over to whistlekick.com and sign up for the newsletter list. Or you can go to whistlekickmartialartsradio.com, sign up there, watch a bunch of podcasts there. Or, of course, this is YouTube, so you can watch martial arts radio episodes right here. I want to thank you for watching today. I hope you have a great day. I'm going to go finish some coffee and be mildly productive for the next hour or so as I sit on the couch with my laptop. Take care. I'll see you tomorrow. Peace.